So when I watched the first episode of the 1% Club from Fox, I was feeling really confident, right? I have 2 master's degrees, I have a PhD, I was feeling good. And when I tell you, it humbled me. And if I have to be humbled, so do you. Class is in session. These questions are meant to be logic-based, not fact-based, and like test your reasoning skills. That sounds easier somehow, right? Jennifer has a date with Ben. Which pair of shoes would she be most comfortable in? Which ones? Which ones? Nope, not those. I bet you thought it was those, but it wasn't those, it's these. Do you know why? It's the only one that has both a left and a right shoe. Do you see what I mean? And this one feels like a math problem and therefore gave me anxious diarrhea. If Cooper's boat has a ladder hanging off its side that's 12 feet long with the bottom 3 feet submerged in water, how much of the ladder will be underwater if the tide rises 4 feet? Answer is 3 feet, because if the boat rises with the tide, so does the ladder. And even though they explain that to me, I still... Maybe you can answer the questions that only 1% of people can answer. I did find myself to be jarringly average. But you can check it out for yourself on Tuesdays on Fox, 8/7 Central, and the next day on Hulu. Make sure you watch it and then let me know what you guys ended up scoring. Like, let me know. I told my students it was time to go to the library, so one of my students bent over and said, "Ride me, Daddy," and his best friend jumped on his back. So he gave him a ride all the way to the library. Going, yeah, the whole way there. Observing a class this week, and the teacher said, "Man, I lost my train of thought," and without missing a beat, the student said, "Damn, son, sounds like you better get a new train." My students figured out they could connect their iPhones to the Apple TV if they did it before I connected my computer. And so then one day, I did not connect in time. And there were noises and visuals coming from the TV. I had a group of students that were playing cards during class, and so I confiscated them and put them in my desk. And then I came around again, and they were playing Cards Against Humanity. Significantly larger stack of cards. So I confiscated those and put them in my desk. And then the third time I came around, they were playing rock, paper, scissors. Checkmate. The thing in our box, all that was in there was a rock. The amount of teachers who have DM'd me pictures of the rocks that their administrators or districts gave them for Teacher Appreciation Week. It was too many. I mean, one is too many. I did this because I was like, that's funny. A funny little, silly, goofy little pun. Nope. That's what they got. I do wonder, though, what did you get for Teacher Appreciation Week? From your district, from your admin, all of that. And this is not to throw shade at admin specifically, because I know that a lot of admin are coming out of their own pockets for some of the things they're doing. And some of them have very large, like, teams. So this is not shade at admin who's really trying their best, because I do feel like we should shout out the admin that is doing their best to like love on their teachers, but like also don't give them rocks. Don't do that.
This is by far the appetizer I've made the most.
Because I have people ask me all the time if I get competitive with my sister about social media, because I started before her and she's a copycat and she came in after me. And so recently I was telling them like, yeah, my sister does her own thing over there, host in your home. You know, she talks about, you know, ways that are really budget friendly to like host and all of that. And it's so great. And they're like, yeah, that's really cool. Do you guys ever get like competitive? Why would I ever compete with her? Why? You see, because I am naturally very competitive. And because of that, I don't compete in things that I'm not going to win. I started before her. And that's what her videos look like. Why would I put myself in competition with somebody who is so clearly a level above me? Like, that's crazy work. I'm not being falsely modest. If you guys go look at her page, I'm just saying the truth. Just saying the truth. So, you know, we're not in competition. Because why would we be?
What did everybody do this summer? The student raised his hand and said, "I pleasured myself all summer." A couple of theater kids got caught playing hide the theatrical sausage behind the stage. And I just have a question as to why is it always the theater kids? They just can't stop. In the midst of the industrialization unit, a student said he was on strike, and so he will not be doing any work. My God, what if they unionize? A student lit something up in class. It was sage. And when asked why, they said, because this place is crazy. It's not what burning sage fixes, but... All right. A 7th grader got so very stuck in the orchestra closet that the fire department had to be called to extract him. It's only the 2nd week of school. One student said, "Miss, he's touching my weenus, and I did not give consent." And the other kid kind of smiles and goes, "I like his weenus." When the students were asked why they're not doing their work, why aren't you doing what you're asked? The student said, "It's called not giving a..." Okay. On the very first day of class, asked, any questions? And a student said, "Why do we exist and then die?" A student made a really great sculpture in ceramics class and named it Chlamydia. 2 football players were about to go in for a hug, and one said, "You can hug me, but don't lick my neck again." During a speech screening, a student called a feather a bird leaf and a crib a baby cage. Trying to get class started and get everyone's attention up at the front of the class, and a sophomore girl goes, "Excuse me, can't you see that we're trying to have a conversation here? I'm a woman of the Lord." Hey guys, so I have to tell you, because I was doing stand-up for a principal's meeting last night, which is a weird setup for doing comedy. It was like upstairs at a restaurant, and salads were delivered halfway through like my intro, and it was all of that. And I also got up there right after they went over all of the different House bills that are trying to be pushed through for education. So everyone got real depressed right before I got up there. So not, the greatest setup, but I just want to tell you guys the passion that I got to witness from those principals in this area of Indiana that I'm in right now, and the way that they are actively advocating for their teachers and actively pushing for, better pay, more resources. There wasn't a moment in there where I heard any of them say a bad word about their teachers. They see what their teachers are going through in a way that was honestly just really moving to me. And I feel like because a lot of us are never in the room when you have a bunch of principals hanging out and vibing together and talking about their frustrations are very much based on what is causing harm and wear and tear to their teachers. And I just think it's really special that you guys and we have some really great administrators out there that are out there really fighting for their school communities. I just had to share that because I know for me, I was never in a room with multiple principals literally before last night. And what a cool thing to see, what a cool thing to see that they're out there and they're really putting in so much work for their schools. So just wanted you guys to know. I was talking to Mr. So-and-so. I gotta tell you, he smells a lot like weed. He's not, is he? Okay, he might be. All right. It's one way to get through the day, I guess. No, I got some donuts already. Oh, you got some fruit? Okay. I don't know what you're trying to prove, but oh, you just like fruit. Okay, that's fine. Who is that? Is she new? We should have her come sit with us. Yeah. She looks cool. She looks like our people. Psst. Psst. I mean, they're saying this to all of us, but we all know. If they say giving us time to work in our rooms, aka do our jobs, and they call it the gift of time, I swear to God, I'm gonna scream. I cannot be held accountable. Why does it smell like margaritas? Is that you? Are you still drunk from last night? Girl. Yeah. I'm not judging. I'm not here to cast a judgment. I'm just saying maybe like tamper that down. The kids are here next week. Don't have a question, don't have a question, don't. Martha?